Hey world! For those who don't know already, my name is Keith and this is IMR, the Indie Movie Reviews, where I, Keith, review the many not-so-mainstream feature films and give them the limelight they deserve. In this episode, I'm reviewing the indie sci-fi The Beyond. Set in the year 2019, The Beyond features a groundbreaking mission which sends astronauts modified with advanced robotics or cybernetics into a newly discovered anomaly coined as the Void. When the spacecraft returns unexpectedly early, the space agency races to discover what the astronauts have encountered on their first mission of its kind, an interstellar journey. Our main character, Gillian, is the director of the organization's space agency, and a lot of the decisions and choices resides in her hands. Our story starts off very simply with Gillian and her daughter Mary taking part in a kind of research documentary. So that gives us a very nice introduction to our main character and her background story, a lot of which is portrayed through the words of her own daughter. The initial setup of this scene makes it appear that this documentary style is somewhat of a device that is used to introduce the audience to the characters, but in fact the entire movie is a science fiction fictional documentary. We shortly find out that there has been a terrible accident on the ISS, the International Space Station, causing massive power outages and causing astronaut Jim Marcel to become missing and presumed dead. The cause of this tragedy is determined to be rooted with a special anomaly coined as the Void. And so, Gillian orders a probe to be sent on a special mission inside the Void. Subsequently, Space Agency loses contact with the probe and in turn loses the probe altogether. Pending the failed mission of sending the probe into the Void and the findings based upon that, Gillian wants to send an actual human astronaut into the Void. However, her colleagues do not support her proposals considering the risks involved. But after further escalation of the Void's presence, it is made quite clear that a drastic decision must be made. It was finally determined to go down the route of cybernetic robotics. I shall not go into too much details concerning the means in which this is accomplished as to avoid massive spoilers. But let us just say it opens up our main character to some very serious ethical dilemmas. Coined as the Human 2.0 project, this allowed the space agency to send astronauts into the Void to study the Void and to understand the anomaly. What you need to understand about this movie is that although it is a science fiction movie, it is not your usual action-packed science fiction adventure. It focuses very heavily on dialogue. It does use some cutscenes to set the tone of what is going on in the movie, but this is a fictional documentary style movie. If you were going into this movie expecting it to fall on the same lines as Lost in Space, you will be very disappointed. For what it is one of the best of its kinds that I have seen. Granted, I've only seen a few productions of the same style, more notably the Blair Witch Project, in which I found to be incredibly underwhelming. However, with The Beyond, this kept me engaged and very interested to know how it all pans out. Once I got past the fact that this is a documentary style movie, I became very invested in the performance. Even though she is left with some very serious dilemmas, some very tough choices, I found myself really empathizing with the main character and really wanting her mission to succeed. What I like about this movie is that it opens up our minds to a lot of questions about humanity, how we conduct ourselves, how we conduct ourselves with each other, and how we treat our planet and how we care about our planet. Now, was this the best movie that I've ever seen? Definitely not. Was it the best independent movie I've ever seen? Absolutely not. But it does have a very nice charm to it. It is very different from most science fiction movies, even from most indie movies. It is very unique in that regard. The performances from all of the actors is very authentic. The means of how the story escalates and develops is done very well in a very simple way but effective way. Although it is not the most amazing piece of film that you will ever see, I still do recommend checking it out. It is streaming on Netflix. It does have a very engaging storyline, very engaging plot, very interesting characters, amazing acting. I would rate this movie 3 out of 5 stars. But if you have already seen The Beyond, please let me know what you thought of it by typing a comment down below in the comments area, or post me a video response via the video response hashtag listed in the description area. Also everyone, if you could like this video, it really helps me out, and until next time everyone, do not forget, nerds rule the world. As always everyone, if you like this video, please feel free to check out my previous videos. Check out my previous video on this channel, Nerdy Keith, and my previous video on Keith's Universe, if you're feeling philosophical. Thanks again.